7:30. We'll get things started. It's one of those mornings already. Tim, do you want to start us off?
Sure. Based on some comments I already heard, joking about Jeff's beard, you guys are really going to appreciate this one. Here we go.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
I listen to them all the time, but I've never seen what they look like. So,
Who are they?
Washboard Union.
Washboard Union, they're a country band.
Oh, yep, I know. Yep. I thought it was ZZ Top.
A younger version of ZZ Top, maybe. Al, do you have a Sergeant Arms report?
Good morning, President Dean. Good morning and welcome, fellow Rotarians. A warm welcome to you all. A warm welcome to John. Nice to see you, John. One of the duties of the Sergeant at Arms of the Rotary Club is to thank people. And before we have our guests formally introduced and hear from them, I wanted to take this opportunity to just say a few words. Janice, over the last 18 months, it seemed to me that you were a regular on CTV Barrie News. We can't imagine what it was like for you to be at the helm of the RVH and to run the show. I look forward to those interviews every night. One of the reasons I did was because you're very straightforward and honest, and you talked in ordinary terms, and you let us know what was going on. From our Rotary Club and all the people down here in Innisfil to you, thank you for that. I think it was very important what you did. And I welcome you this morning. You're going to be formally introduced in a few moments. Kim, I know you're on Pam's staff at the hospital. I want to welcome you this morning to the Rotary Club of Innisfil. Thank you for joining us. Pam Ross. And Pam, it's nice to see you again. And welcome, a very, very warm welcome to Innisfil and to the Innisfil Rotary Club. The RVH and the town of Innisfil are very, very well connected. We have, everyone in this room has stories about the Royal Victoria Hospital, going back to the days when it was on Ross Street. And I remember the emergency, if you went there at 2 or 3 in the morning, they had to phone a doctor and ask him to come to the hospital. There wasn't even a doctor on duty. My God, we've come a long way. But to Pam, to you for your new position at the hospital as the Chief Executive Officer of the Foundation, we welcome you and we wish you all the best. And we're looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dean. That's all I had this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Al. I guess we're going to do our speakers. Jen, are you introducing our speakers today?
Thank you, President Dean. Janice Skot has been the president and CEO of Barrie's Royal Victoria Regional Health Centre since 2004. Previously, she led the Northeastern Ontario Regional Cancer Centre and was CEO of Laurentian Hospital in Sudbury. Under her visionary and progressive leadership, RVH has become a recognized center of excellence and innovation, providing specialized care closer to home with a strong culture of safety, transparency, accountability, and service excellence. Pamela Ross joined RVH Foundation as its CEO in January, after having been the Chief Philanthropy Officer at United Way Greater Toronto and spending 12 years at Sunnybrook Foundation, most recently as its Chief Operating Officer, where she was responsible for all fundraising and day-to-day operations. While Pam isn't a doctor, she is honored to use her non-medical skills to improve the healthcare of her friends, loved ones, and neighbors through her work. Please welcome Janice and Pam.
Thank you very much for the warm introduction. President Dean, thank you so much for having Pam and me here today. And thanks to Barbara Bagley, our good friend and past board of director member at RVH, for working with our team to arrange for me and Pam to be here today. It is so nice to see so many familiar faces, albeit still virtually. What would we do without Zoom and FaceTime and Teams, obviously? But there are so many people here, as Alice said, who are friends of RVH. And while I can't see everyone on the screen, I do want to acknowledge many of you. First of all, Ann Kell, Ann, who is now an RVH Foundation board member, and we're so proud to have welcomed Ann as our newest member of the foundation board in June. Already, of course, recognizing Sergeant at Arms Al and Susan Gilchrist, his wife, both longtime and supporters of RVH. And of course, Ann Smith, member of the board of directors of the Innisfil Community Foundation and a strong supporter of RVH through COVID, along with Jean Ray, the foundation's executive director. Jeff Hellings and his wife Sharon, who are raising funds to support our Regional Cancer Center. Teresa Downton, who is part of the Volunteer Blue Brigade at RVH at the Rizzardo Health and Wellness Center. So thanks to all of you, of course, for all that you do for your community and for your great support of RVH. And we're really grateful to have this opportunity to speak with you this morning. I don't need to tell you that RVH and of course the community have been through a very, very challenging time. I appreciated your warm words, Al. It was a privilege to be in my position, and I'm really just so proud of all that Team RVH has accomplished. While we're not out of the woods yet, at least we have some light, I'd say, at the end of what I'd call a very, very long and dark tunnel. Yes, we are all probably all a little tired, a little tested, but there is inspiration and comfort in looking ahead at our future and the hope that there is there for all of us. Speaking of tired and tested, I think that many of you were tired and tested as a result of last week's tornado. Really, people who wrote to me said first the pandemic and all the work we did, and now the tornado, and how this is literally tearing up part of our community. So I just really want to recognize how difficult the tornado is, not just by direct impact. Of course, that was devastating if you lived close. And even for those who were here in the 80s when we had the super tornado fly through. And really, that's just a lot of PTSD, I think, for people when you think about what happened and what could have happened. So our hearts go out to you. But today I'm also feeling very excited about being here because we get the opportunity to talk about the future of healthcare across our region and in South Simcoe, and particularly in Innisfil. But before I do, I would like to talk a little bit about what RVH did over the past year. You know, the team was courageous and they were dedicated. Next slide, please, Kim. So as of yesterday, I'm really pleased to tell you that RVH has no active COVID patients in our hospital. Yes, we have 7 resolved patients still with us. That means that the patients still require acute care, but they're not infectious. This is truly a sea change, and it caught clearly a positive sea change compared to the height of the pandemic. It's been a grueling year, and our hearts go out to those who've lost loved ones in this terrible, terrible virus. But amidst that tragedy, and despite fear for their own safety and the safety of their families, Team RVH continued to show incredible courage, compassion, and commitment. I guess you can tell I'm pretty proud. These are some of our sort of new activities that we undertook as a result of the pandemic. We established an emergency command center to manage RVH's response, and this was a position I had the privilege again of chairing, brought through many people in our organization 7 days a week, evenings and weekends, to make sure that we are always responding. As you can remember, in those early days, the information was changing very, very rapidly, and it was our role to stay on top of it and make sure we were doing the best we could for our region. In that 18-month period, we hired 350 additional staff, including screeners and immunizers, nurses, PSWs, cleaners, and infection control specialists, all of the recruitment and then the orientation and then the ongoing leadership of oversight for this group of people and they're still with us, of course, because we're still requiring all of those elements of our organization to stay safe. We also added 101 new beds to the health center, including our 70-bed regional pandemic response unit. That's our field hospital in our parking lot, and it still operates today as well. We've opened screening clinics, Barrie, but equally important, the one in Innisfil at Rosardo. We expanded our laboratory capabilities, so we are able to provide in-house COVID testing, particularly for patients who are coming to the organization. We introduced virtual visitation and pet therapy while our Blue Brigade volunteer program was temporarily suspended, and we sure do miss our Blue Brigade. We supported almost 30 Simcoe Muskoka long-term care and retirement homes, including temporary management of Simcoe Manor in Beaton. We opened the region's first immunization clinic on Sperling Drive, which vaccinates up to 1,500 people each day. And I'm sure many people now are double vaccinated and ensuring that they keep themselves safe. We do know that the Delta variant, it looks like it's on the rise in different parts of both the province, the country, and of course the world. And all I know to date, although I'm not an infectious disease specialist, is that a double vaccination doesn't prevent us necessarily from having acquired the Delta variant, but it could make sure that we're not as ill as if we weren't vaccinated. So we really encourage, of course, full vaccination. In addition to caring for the region, we transferred 220 patients from the overburdened GTA hospitals through the GTA incident management structure. And I have to tell you, people who came from Toronto, some had never been north of 407, as an example, thought they really were coming to the boonies until they arrived at the organization, not only because of its outstanding physical structure, but truly it's the culture. And they really felt supported, well cared for. We asked about their families and made the virtual connections anytime we could. And it's left quite an impression on the patients who were discharged from our organization of Barrie, of the region, of course, and of RVH. We also, as you know, had waves of developing ramp down and then ramp up surgical plans, and perhaps some of you have fortunately been affected by that. These are very complex daily changes to make sure we're also always triaging the patients who require our care. So as you can see, RVH has been extraordinarily productive and effective. Yes, they are exhausted. I won't say we, I'll say they are exhausted, but they're still full of heart and courage. And we saw that last week with the tornado. We had our emergency department ready to roll within 15 minutes of learning that the tornado had hit Barrie. That meant that we were ready to really take on a large load of patients, and everyone worked together. We have called a code orange. No one left the organization to change of shift, just to make sure we were fully equipped and ready to go for everyone who needed us. As it turned out, there were few admissions and actually fewer people in the emerge and even fewer admissions. Nonetheless, when it's a code orange and it's a tornado, we have a full out plan that is ready in time. So of course, I'm very proud of Team RVH. And during this last 18 months, the achievements related to COVID really weren't enough. We actually did more. Over the last year, progress and care was made beyond COVID. In fact, it had to continue. So I'd like to share some of the highlights with you. First of all, and the next slide, thanks, Kim, we have a strategic plan. It's simply called My Care. It's our roadmap. It's a true north. It's sort of how we describe the future of RVH and the care that we offer today and we'll want to continue to offer to the region in the future. Now, the plan was refreshed this year. And even though everyone was very busy with COVID, consultation took place with more than 600 people. And many of our strategic directions remain the same, which are higher level goals, but they've all been updated to reflect our next priorities, little drum roll for Innisfil. And the plan also includes the actions we'll take to achieve our goals and how we will measure success. So since we launched our My Care plan back in 2013, just after our last expansion opened, it's been refreshed 3 times. And we've had feedback from more than 5,000 people to accomplish that. Next, Kim. An example of a completed strategic direction is the expansion of our advanced cardiac program, successfully rolling out protocols for heart attack patients called Code STEMI. These are the sickest patients in a heart attack needing care immediately. So now paramedics from across the region transport heart attack patients directly to RVH for intervention, bypassing their local hospitals. When it comes to the heart, time is muscle. So this next step in our program is actually saving lives right across the region. As our RVH Heart program continues to expand, we've recently welcomed a 3rd interventional cardiologist and a 12th cardiologist. I often say build it and they will come. Many of us will remember We used to have one cardiologist in Barrie, Dr. Brad Tipple, and he did a lot. But once we built the cardiac program, we did the fundraising, brought the equipment in, to think we have 3 interventional cardiologists working 24/7 now, and also 12 cardiologists providing a full range of programs for heart disease. It's really quite exceptional. It really builds on the shoulders of the cancer program, where for so many years, Dr. Bryn Presnell was our sole oncologist. And now we have over 20 oncologists at RVH because we built the cancer program. And of course, they wanted to come and practice here. Next. Another less tangible project, but vital clinical transformation safety project is called Care For. RVH and 3 partner hospitals in Collingwood, Midland, and Orangeville are working together to transform our health information system. This is a transformational project that will ensure a single patient health record is available at all of our organizations, making for a more seamless flow of information between the hospitals and their departments. The project will increase patient safety and give our patients a better care experience because they won't have to repeat the same information over and over again. And again, I'm sure all of us have experienced that. As you can imagine, it's a massive undertaking though, and particularly during a pandemic. We have over 160 people working on the project, and it will impact every process and every workflow in all 4 hospitals. The Care For project will go live September 18th. I'm pretty excited about that. Next. So that's really just a very high level look at how we've continued to move ahead while caring for the community during the extraordinary difficult challenge of the pandemic. I'm happy now to turn to our exciting future. Our vision is to change the future of healthcare in Simcoe, Muskoka, and we continue our planning to do just that. I'm going to talk a little bit about the changes in the region that are driving the need for the expansion, and of course, the innovation that's driving our plans. And then I'm going to talk about the impact this vision will have on our healthcare system. But first, I'd like to start by describing RVH today. Next, Kim. As you know, we are a regional health center. More than half of RVH's patients are from outside Barrie, who come to RVH for specialized care that isn't available elsewhere in the region. In these program areas, we're providing leading edge, world-class care. Over the years, supports from Rotary clubs from across the region have helped to make these programs possible. Next. Now, these numbers give you a sense of our current size and scope. As Al said, we've changed quite a bit from the Ross Street organization that we were. We're actually the largest hospital between Newmarket and Sudbury. We log almost 500,000 patient visits each year, with almost 85,000 emergency department visits. The health center has many academic partnerships, including University of Toronto, and our family medicine teaching unit trains family physicians in their final 2 years of residency. But in fact, in addition to the family medicine teaching unit, and many of those physicians remain local, meaning in the region, we in fact have trained over 1,000 students each year at RVH, from doctors to nurses to physiotherapists. So in short, we are Central Ontario's most advanced healthcare provider, offering the greatest range of care right here at home. We all know, however, that the region is changing, it's growing, and the demands of our system are increasing. Next, please. So those numbers paint a picture of our size and our scope, but what they don't show is how important RVH is to healthcare of Innisfilians. 65% of our patients come from outside of the city of Barrie, and patients from in this group of patients who come from outside of Barrie. We care for Innisfil's sickest patients. In fact, 2/3 of Innisfil's sickest patients come to RVH for care. As we've said earlier, the community is very reliant on RVH. We put our flag in the sand with the Rizzardo Health and Wellness Center, and that was really the first signal that we plan to build a hot health hub in the region in the next decade. And because it's our intention to be there for Innisfilians in the moments that matter the most, now, of course, and in the future. Next. RVH expansion plan is driven by population growth. Our population projections see Barrie, Springwater, and South Simcoe County nearly doubling over the next 20 years, adding 173,000 new residents. When you total the population, it's equivalent to London, Ontario. And if you're familiar with London and Western University, you'll know they have 2 very large hospitals with several sites throughout the city. Our population projections were derived before the pandemic hit. So we actually know with so many more people now relocating out of the GTA, we'll say finally seeing the light, we're making actually those projections that we made quite conservative. Next. We also have an aging population. Seniors are growing at a rate faster in our region than the provincial average. In 25 years, Simcoe County will have over 107,000 more seniors than it does today, making up almost 30% of the population. And that's an important statistic because seniors use hospital services on average 4 times more frequently than the rest of the population and account for half the province's health budget. So that has to be factored into our planning, both size and scope. Next, please. Not only is the region's population growing and aging, we simply aren't as healthy as the provincial average. We in the region tend to have more unhealthy habits. We have higher rates of smoking, drinking, and obesity. And all of those factors lead to chronic health conditions that require hospital care. I don't mean this to be a lecture. I say we all the time because our habits impact the kind of healthcare we're going to need in the future. Almost 45% of the region's residents have at least one chronic condition, such as diabetes, heart disease, cancer, or a respiratory illness. But 1 in 5 actually have multiple conditions, all impacting the increased utilization of our health center. Next. Now, these trends, whether it's population growth or impact of social determinants of health, aren't new. We saw the change years ago and we responded. With your support, 9 years ago, we doubled the size of RVH, brought comprehensive cancer care closer to home, added 100 beds, introduced 77 million in new equipment, increased emerge and imaging. Those are just to name a few highlights. And after the expansion in 2012, we immediately started to plan for 2 critical programs that people were still traveling for: advanced cardiac care and child and youth mental health, both now open and providing exceptional care. Neither of these programs were available in our region previously, and both were made possible because of community support. All clubs, and this one included. And really, this is where we stand today. So much has been accomplished, and yet there is still so much to do. Next. Our vision is to build a healthcare system across the region. This system will have the services and beds we need to care for our growing and aging population. And we'll have the advanced technology we need to continue to offer world-class care right here at home. We will combine space and technology to build a hospital of the future. Our plan is to double the size of the existing Georgian Drive site and build a new site in rapidly growing South Simcoe. Next. Our approach to achieve our vision is phased over 20 years. Our 2-campus integrated model addresses current capacity challenges as well as future population demands. With this staged approach, we can secure approvals in a reasonable timeframe, begin providing services as quickly as possible, and increase the likelihood of approval through manageable, discrete stages. The first step in our graduated model occurred when we began to provide a range of adult and child outpatient services in Innisfil's new Rizzardo Health and Wellness Center at Innisfil Beach Road and Yonge Street. And since it opened, the center has had just under 5,000 patient visits, and about 1 in 5 of those being children. And this was really important to us to be able to, one, as I said earlier, put our flag in the sand of Innisfil, but also make sure that people didn't have to get on that highway if it wasn't necessary. Of course, the pandemic has affected some of those projections and numbers, but those are actually 5,000 patient visits and 1 in 5 being patient visits by children. So now that the Rizzardo Health and Wellness Center is open, we also have to begin to renovate and redevelop space within our current facility, including empty shelled spaces that were built as part of the 2012 expansion. When we opened in 2012, the government allowed us to really fit electrical, plumbing, et cetera, of 2 large units, the same size as any inpatient unit. One we've already used for cardiac care, and the other one now is going to be fit out. It's the responsible thing to do to make sure we're making good use of our current assets before we ask government for new assets. Within 10 years, we'll also complete an inpatient tower on our current campus. And at the same time, we'll construct a South Campus health hub in Innisfil, and it's going to focus on outpatient services and an urgent care center. And when I talk about outpatient services, just think today even how many surgical procedures are completed today on an outpatient basis. For example, some of our knees and hips are now being done on an outpatient basis. this outpatient service is going to be quite comprehensive. Now, we haven't determined the location yet, but our site selection committee is narrowing down the list of potential sites using very, very clear criteria. So those are the phases for which we've submitted a pre-capital submission, all the words government uses, to our provincial government. And we've had 2 responses already with respect to our expansion, but it doesn't end there. The next stage of the graduated model adds inpatient beds at our South Campus, and such as seniors care or rehab care. These are the type of inpatient beds that are not dependent on a 24/7 emergency department. Once you have a 24/7 emergency department, you need to ensure you have an intensive care unit and all of the very complex imaging services that go along with that. So this is a graduated model to get us where we want to be, because the eye on the prize, of course, is the development of a full service acute care hospital in Innisfil in 20 years. Now, it's critical to understand that these 2 projects are not separate projects. They work together to solve the challenges of our region facing in terms of access to care, wait times, population growth, and aging. Without one, the other will not have the space and resources to offer the care each community needs. It's an integrated approach. It'll give us the space and the resources we need in both places, allowing us to bring on new services and offer innovative world-class care to everyone in the region. So the health hub in Innisfil cannot happen without the tower happening at the North Campus in Barrie, and vice versa. And that's a really important piece that we've really told government as well. You can't approve part of this project. If either were not approved, then neither is large enough to meet the needs of this growing population. Next. So the North Campus expansion is broken down into a pre-tower and a tower phase. It will double the size of our health center again. The pre-tower phase will see significant renovations and expansions throughout the health center. Excuse me. Such as critical care, maternal child, cancer clinic, mental health, and outpatient clinics. We're also going to expand the non-clinical building, appropriately called Rotary Place, to free up space for patient care in the main building. It's much less expensive construction, and if it's an office space, it doesn't need to be there. Sorry, Kim, you're right to have gone ahead. Then we'll move into the tower phase with the construction of a 9-story tower, approximately 800,000 square feet of new spaces, including additional beds and expanded surgical services. There's also going to be a comprehensive parking strategy that will be developed separately. So the pre-tower and the tower phase will happen within 10 years from approval. Between its North and South Campus, RVH will have a total of 943 beds. Next. And the moment you've been waiting for, the South Campus. It'll be completed in stages, building on that graduate model that I did show you earlier. The plan includes the ambulatory health hub with an urgent care clinic within 10 years. Then in 15 years, we'll add inpatient beds that aren't dependent on an emergency department, such as seniors care or rehabilitation. And of course, a full service acute care hospital with a 24/7 emergency department and operating rooms after 20 years. So at maturity, the South Campus will house 285 inpatient beds and include space for our partners so that we can better coordinate care. So the model you see here is set on a generic piece of property. It's not going to look like that because we haven't determined the South Campus location quite yet. But we're expected to finalize the site and make an announcement by the end of this calendar year. Next. Our vision will require a significant capital investment. Our funding strategy will see us secure funding in a number of ways. Of course, the province will support the capital expansion by funding the lion's share of the building construction. It's not broadly known, however, that the province does not fund the cost of new equipment for projects like this. That's up to us entirely. We determine the equipment we put in the hands of our professionals. So we expect that our municipal and regional governments will continue to support our growth as they see us as a partner and a leader in supporting the wellness of our region. At the heart of our program and every turn has been our community. Theirs has been an investment of heart and treasure in our past campaigns, and we'll be counting on that even more for this project. So I'm going to turn it over to Pam now and also welcome Pam. We're so pleased she's joined RVH as of January of this year. Pam's going to say a few words about the Moments Matter campaign and also the community engagement effort. Pam?
Thank you, Janice, and thank you, Sergeant at Arms Al. And Jen, for your warm welcome. It's very kind of you. Thank you. As Janice's presentation makes clear, the vision for changing the future of healthcare in the region is a very ambitious one, and it needs to be for our communities and for each one of us and the ones we love. As you know, RVH Foundation has had a strong history of success in not only reaching our campaign goals, but in exceeding them. And this time our goal is historical in its ambition. So in order to succeed, we need to build on the strengths of the past, but also reach far beyond what we ever thought was possible. So the Moments Matter campaign, as Janice mentioned, has been driven really by 3 priorities. The first is that we will reach far across all of our communities, especially our longtime friends, including Rotarians like you, who are our closest friends. And Janice talked about how the region is changing. So we really must connect with new residents and with seasonal residents who are spending more and more time here, some in fact making the region their permanent home. And so our job, particularly in Innisfil, will be one of education. Our vision is critical to the long-term quality of healthcare for this community of communities. And it's our job to make sure that the vision is not only known, but is also understood. So ultimately, our aim is to inspire Innisfilians to take an active part in achieving the vision, both for themselves and for everyone they care about. Next, it's our job to inspire our supporters to invest in this vision at levels they may not have thought possible. This vision will have us bring to the region world-class care made possible by the most advanced equipment in state-of-the-art facilities, and it will be game-changing for the region. So investments that donors make in this vision together will have a life-changing impact for every person in Innisfil and in the region writ large. And last, when you give, you want to know that you're making a real difference in the lives of others. You want to know that you've had a meaningful impact. And so our aim is to enrich the lives of our donors by making it possible for them to change lives in a fundamental way. And it's through that really profound experience of having made that impact that our donors will remain donors for a lifetime. And these priorities, as I said, will guide the campaign and everything that the foundation does. These 3 things are our promise to you and to all of our donors. And of course, we see Innisfil Rotary as an incredibly powerful partner in all 3 of these areas. So when we think about this goal, we think about what we need to achieve. We know that exceptional leadership is key to that. So our campaign, of course, is supported by the Foundation's board of directors, who bring to that strategy and are responsible for making sure we have the resources that we need to be successful. And our board includes leaders from the community, business leaders, political leaders, and influencers like Anne from across the region. The campaign itself is led by 2 co-chairs. Many of you know Steve Blanchette personally, as he is a longtime Rotarian. Steve is deeply involved in community building. He's a member of the RVH Foundation board, and he's the former chair of the board of directors of RVH itself. Mary Ann Frith, she's a longtime philanthropist, business owner, and also a member of the RVH board. And her husband, Brent, is also a Rotarian. So the two of them together, Steve and Mary Ann, are a force of nature, completely dedicated, and really have a fire in their bellies for making this vision become a reality. And they're supported in their work by a group of senior volunteers who make up our campaign cabinet. Of course, many of our campaign cabinet members are Rotarians themselves, and we are actively recruiting campaign cabinet members from Innisfil and the South Simcoe area as well. So this remarkable group of people, they know their job is a big one, bigger than they've ever taken on before, but they've taken it on with zeal, and they know that doing so is critical to the health of each one of us who call the region home. So that's a very high level look at the campaign and the approach that we're taking to securing the support that we need to make this vision a reality. And as I said, we see Rotary as an incredibly powerful partner in all three of our campaign priorities: mobilizing the community, inspiring life-changing giving, and making life-enriching experiences for, for our donors. So it's our hope that in the not too distant future, we can return here to this table and hopefully in person to speak with you about the role that Rotary can play in the campaign and the Innisfil Club in particular. So that's it for my remarks. Janice, I'll pass it back to you for your closing remarks.
Thanks very much, Pam. And really just on behalf of Team RVH, we want to extend our thanks for your support. Behind every innovation in care at RVH is the support of Rotarians, and we're very grateful for that. And we're really grateful to have the opportunity to speak with you this morning, President Dean, and of course, back over to you, and we're always happy to answer any questions.
Well, thank you very much, Janice and Pam. Does anyone have any quick questions before we move on? Anne.
Thank you, President Dean. I just want to pass on my personal thanks to RVH. In December 2019, I was diagnosed with an aggressive form of breast cancer, and just over a week after I was diagnosed, I had surgery performed by Dr. Hanrahan. And throughout 2020 and into 2021, I had chemo and radiation treatment, and despite COVID, not one of my appointments ever at the cancer center, radiology, or cardiology was ever canceled, which was one of my biggest concerns with COVID being around. Everybody I came into interaction with was incredible. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for providing such a world-class center so close to our home, and just appreciate everything RVH did for me. So personal thank you to you all.
Thank you very much, Anne, for those words. And many people don't know that as a regional cancer program, we managed to keep 3 to 4 of our 11 ORs open during the pandemic, precisely for the reason that we would not slow down vital and life-saving surgeries such as cancer surgery. So it's really good feedback. Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
I was just going to ask if the office is open again for making donations, because we haven't been able to get in there to get into during COVID. So just wondering if that was going to open up again soon.
Over to you, Pam. Pam still with us? Oh, I can answer. There you are.
To unmute myself as usual. You'd think by now I would have that skill. The opening up of the hospital for access for foundation staff, the plan for that is being worked through. We're hopeful that we'll be able to open in September, but still working through the guidance for how we get staff back into the office. But I'll tell you what, if you want to make a donation, please call the office and we'll arrange for someone to pick up donations as well.
All right,
And
thank you. Thank you.
may I add, Pam, of course, there are always online donations. I'd like to think we're open for donations 24/7, 365, but that would be an online opportunity. But Pam, you're also looking at an Innisfil location. Should I talk about it?
Yes, yes, as I unmute myself. We think that it's incredibly important, given what we hope to achieve, that the foundation has a presence in Innisfil. And we're currently working with a number of folks to evaluate a couple of different places with the aim to having an office open in Innisfil in September.
Okay, well, we do have business to go on to, so you're more than welcome to stay for the rest of our meeting. I understand you have busy lives, and if you have to leave, you have to leave. But again, thank you so much for coming. And I'm sure if there's any other questions, Jen, do we have contact information? Perfect. We'll get your contact information to the club to reach out.
Thank you so much, President Dean. Thanks,
Thank you so
everyone.
much for coming.
Stay
Thank
safe.
you, everyone.
So on to updates, old business. Tim and Jeff, beer for year contest.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for people to pick up tickets.
I give you permission to drop by their house and drop them off.
Okay, I just have to get everybody's address off of Club Runner, and I will be doing that. I'll be dropping off 10 books at everybody's house, so they can
Get
get
that
them
for you,
sold,
Jeff.
so we can get in there. Right, Tim?
Yep, 100%. Let's get them. Let's get them out there. The more
That's it.
people reach out to your contacts, and also every opportunity we have to sell, it's whether at the farmers market or not. That's going to be, I don't know if that's a separate agenda piece there, President Dean. But this week we're not going to be going to the YMCA farmers market. We're actually going to go to the Tangers Mall. It's a 1 to 6, so I'm going to be sending out some shift requests really shortly. So if people are interested in signing up for that, it's better that we have a presence to sell tickets to as many people as possible.
Yeah, so we're going to alternate every other week the different farmers markets, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Or until it feels like we've completely dried up. Like if we're going to the farmers markets and not selling anything, it's because we're always getting the same audience. So we'll just keep going until we feel it, and then when it happens, then we come up with a new approach.
Yeah, I still haven't been able to reach Kevin at Sobeys to see if we can set up there on the weekends, but I will try him again this afternoon. If anyone else has any ideas on where to set up, Barb?
Can I just ask if Tim would circulate the social media stuff for people again about the Beer for Year tickets, so that we can use that as promotion on our personal Facebook and email list?
Yeah, certainly, Barb. That'll be coming out by the end of today.
John?
I was just gonna find out if there was a link for the Beer for a Year that like we can point people to.
Yes, and I'll include that as well in the social media information that will go out, John.
John,
Thank
if
you
you
for
can,
asking.
Tim, do you have John's email? He's not on
That's
Club
a good
Rotary.
point.
John, if you can send Tim a message with your email, he'll make sure you get it.
We'll do that.
Thank you. And anyone else have any other questions? Will the link allow us? Yes, the link does allow you to buy online as well.
Yep. And when people buy online, I fill out the stub for them and send them a electronic ticket.
You also
Get out
include
there.
Jeff's phone number so we can call him and make arrangements to get the tickets.
Sure, you can have my phone number.
I don't
As
have
long as
your
I
phone
get, as long as
number.
I can get yours. You want my phone number?
Isn't that 411?
Yeah, something like that. 911, 911.
I was just gonna say, don't call 911.
My phone number is 905-252-3628.
President, may I make a suggestion? to
Absolutely.
Jeff and Tim?
Please.
We have a neighbor who took 5 books and sold them at her work. Everybody has a friend who goes to work. Maybe you could take a book and ask them to sell it at work. I mean, we're trying to make money here. You've got to be inventive. It's hard. Everybody goes to work still, even if they're on Zoom. So, you know, everybody has to do this. We've run into this before. You can't just have a couple of people do it. Sorry,
Thank you.
my
No.
rant for today.
That's excellent. Thank
It
you.
was a
Sue.
very good rant.
A very good one. Yes.
So if no one's got any other questions on that, I don't see Doug Weaver on this morning, but we did have a small meeting last night about the upcoming bottle drive. So we did narrow down. And did you write everything down? We have 2 locations confirmed.
Yeah. For August 7th, we have 2 locations confirmed. One is the Innisfil Community Church. We're going to combine that also with a food drive. We're going to Jeff. We're going to bring up the train and park the train in the Innisfil Church parking lot on the 7th. And through social media, we're going to try and get people to fill the train with food for the food bank. The second location on August the 7th will be at the Stroud Arena, Community Center Arena, where the library is. We're going to have a setup there as well. And we will be sending out sign-up sheets for volunteers at the 2 locations for August 7th. The one after that, because of district conference being the weekend of the 11th of September, we're moving the next one to the 18th of September. And the town, I'm communicating with the town as to how many of their locations we will need during that time. And at this point, we're thinking, I've got to talk to Howard again. We'll probably use the community church for the Alcona location, but we will ask the town for the Stroud and Cookstown Community Center locations for that date as well. So everything's going along okay. And I know Joanne has already requested insurance for all those locations for those dates.
We also reduced the hours. They are be from 9 to 3.
Yes,
so we won't
that's
be out
correct.
there as long. We found that there was quite a lag after the 3 o'clock. It was pretty busy in the morning, had a couple hours, and then got a little bit busy again. We're hoping to be even better with 2 locations. I believe the food drive we are just doing at the Alcona location.
Just at the Alcona location, because once we've collected the food, we can, on an ongoing basis, if we assign a couple of people to the train to take the food donations, we can get them straight into the food bank. And I'm going to ask Howard today what particular items they are short of in the food bank, so we can stress if people can donate those kind of non-perishable items.
Perfect. Tim has gone ahead and ordered the signs that we approved last night at the board meeting. Do you have that quickly to share, Tim, or no?
What the signs can look like?
Yep.
Yep. 2 seconds.
So we ordered 100 signs. We are going to put them in front of the Stroud Arena, in front of the church. I'm going to put one up in my front yard. Hopefully every one of my neighbors see it, and if anyone else wants one for their front yard. But yeah, they will be those bright yellow ones that nobody can miss. So basically, and on mine in the bottom, I'm going to put the church, because it will be my closest location, or I will say, "Our come after me and drop off here." So I'm hoping to come home from work and finding lots of empties on my front yard.
I just saw a note from Debbie saying September 18th may work for Friday Harbor as well. So she'll confirm about that.
That might be a good one as well.
Would be great. Thank you, Debbie.
Any other questions on bottle drive? So we will need to sign up. I am going to be away that week. Past president and will also be away.
Maybe, hopefully.
Maybe, hopefully. And Cal, did you get my email yesterday? No.
And Cal? If I'm here, Dean, I will do that. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's just getting a backup plan.
Yep.
I
And I
do have
think
a
Janet had a
question.
question.
Yeah, I do have a question. I was driving up the IBR a couple of days ago, and I noticed on the sign out in front of the Innisfil Beach Church, like the community church, it said a fundraising for bottle drive. Bring your bottles and cans there, and they put somebody else's name on the sign. Are they doing a separate one, or is it in addition to ours.
I saw the Rotary sign they had up for a bottle drive. I haven't seen anything else. I'm going to talk to Howard after this meeting, so I'll ask him about that.
Sweet.
Any other things going on with the bottle drive? Questions, comments? Okay, for August 4th, we are still looking for a speaker. We were hoping somebody would step up and do the vocational. Barb?
I've got some volunteers. I just haven't had time to get back to them. So we're already covered.
Oh, all right then. Scratch that off the list. Well, I'm going to pass back to past President Ann because she's got some fantastic news from the library.
Yeah, I was in the, thank you, President Dean. I was in the library yesterday and they told me that they are quite happy for us to start having our in-person meetings on August the 4th at the library, which will be fantastic. We will not be in the room that we would normally be in. We will be in that open area, and Rob, we all miss Rob. Rob will set it up for us so that we can be socially distanced and we would still have to wear masks to go along with the library protocol. I'm waiting for Wendy to just send me out an email to confirm that, and then I will distribute it to everybody. But it looks like we can get together again in person on August the 4th. And I talked to Barb and Jen to see how that affects our upcoming speaker list, and we may at some point still have to utilize Zoom for some of our speakers. And the other good news was that it looks like our harvest dinner will be able to go ahead at the library as requested. And also they haven't yet started thinking about Christmas, but when they do think about Christmas, we can combine our gingerbread competition with whatever the library is doing for Christmas as well. So it's all great news.
So I know in speaking with Jen and Barb yesterday, the 25th, Jen, was the Wednesday we agreed on, or was it Barb? The 25th, we will be doing just a social build at the library in-person meeting. We don't have a speaker that day, so it'll just be seeing everybody, talking to everybody, having a great time. I also had emails out to Barb and Jen yesterday to find out which of our speakers can come in person and which have to be Zoom. So hopefully we can get a schedule going from now on where we can start meeting in person again. If anyone is opposed to meeting in person, I did have a discussion with Tim. We are working on a hybrid model. So people can still come in from Zoom if they have to, if they can't meet in person. Barb?
Can I ask, will we still be able to offer Zoom as an option to speakers? I guess maybe Tim has to think about that, but some of the speakers we've had, witness this morning's speakers, we would never have had in person. It would have been a tough go. So are we going to be able to offer those options? Like, it's something to think about.
Well, we should be able to get Zoom on the large television
I don't know how it works.
Yeah, it's between Dwayne and myself, having experience with videography and camera work. I think we'll be able to do something. And it's once Dwayne has some time. He's been extremely busy lately, so which is good for him. But we will work out a system that can make us shine. That's the because we want to keep that presence. Because all the YouTube videos we've been doing of our meetings, I think we should be able to continue doing those in some way. So I think this would allow us to do both. Help people virtually and keep expanding our presence out into the net.
So the only thing I see, President Dean, as a bit of a hiccup is, well, we transition and learn ourselves. We may have a couple of hiccups, but I think we should be able to make it work and continue to still get the caliber of speakers we've had.
Oh, absolutely. I still think that we could be able to get a Zoom call up where they'll be able to see the room and we can have them on the big screen and see them that way. So yeah, it'll be a learning process, but I'm excited to see everybody again. Perfect. Well, and Michael, they have a big, large, what is that, a 65-inch television on the wall where we meet that we can project on as well. or hook our laptops to. So we have 5 minutes. Don't know if we have enough for a full round, but does anyone have great news to share? Jen, go ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone who's reached out over the last couple of days since the tornado. For those who don't know, my street was impacted pretty heavily. We got really lucky with very minor damage, but it was just a very intense couple of days. But you know, just felt really supported by my Rotary family. So thank you all for just for everything, for checking in and giving me space, and thank you.
Anyone else have anything they'd like to share?
Debbie's hands.
Yeah,
Debbie's
Debbie,
hands up.
go ahead. The princess wave.
Morning, everybody. I just wanted to tell you that our house has blocks. We have walls. Woohoo! We've been working on it for the last couple of days, so I'm really happy. The thing that I need to tell you is I got put on quarantine. So I am quarantined in my house, and it's a big story, but what happened is that I do have 2 vaccines, and I tested negative 4 times. But because I was in contact with an individual who had the variant, the Simcoe Health Unit put me in quarantine for 14 days. So I'm just telling everybody, it's so important to keep wearing your masks wherever you go, because otherwise the health unit will throw you into quarantine if they believe that someone's been in contact with you that has the variant. So it's been kind of crazy because it's my my business right now, and my whole team has been put into quarantine. So I'm a little frustrated and kind of down right now because this happened.
Dean, if I can build on that just again, and I think our speaker spoke of it this morning and the health department continues to warn about it, but my brother who lives in the UK, both of his children have been fully vaccinated and were fully vaccinated well over a month ago. All 3 of his kids have now contracted the virus based on the Delta variant. They've been back working in the community and obviously came in contact with somebody and spread it amongst the family. So we're not out of the woods yet, folks.
Good to know. Everyone stay safe. Any other great news or good news to share? Nicole.
Hi, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Nicole Graham. I'm the president of the Barrie Rotaract Club. I apologize for being late. I had a little technical issue, and so I'm on my phone, so I apologize. But it was great to hear your speaker, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here this morning. I just wanted to show my face, make a connection with you all, because being the Barrie Rotaract Club, we want to make a connection with all of our surrounding clubs. And I did get an email that you are doing your harvest dinner again, which previously we did help out at. So if you are ever needing any manpower for an event or any such thing you want us to support and share, please just send an email my way. So yeah, we'd love to be in connection with you guys and hopefully help out with your harvest dinner if needed.
Nicole, write down October 2nd.
October 2nd.
You're already on our list. We just haven't gotten it yet.
I already told them you're doing it.
Okay.
Based on our conversation. Great. Julia said you were going to do it anyway.
I responded to an email saying, sure, we're in. I spoke for the club, so people will show up.
Perfect. Yeah, no, the other promotions, Nicole, if you want to, I can share it with Tim, but if you want to share it with the club, we're doing our beer for a year tickets and bottle drive as well. If you want to share that out with the club as well to promote that.
I copied the link down, so I can definitely share that. We meet Wednesday nights, bi-weekly, so good timing. I'll share it tonight. Perfect.
And yeah, we'll get in touch soon and grab a coffee somewhere and discuss it more.
Awesome. Love that. Thank you. And I do have to run for work, but have a great day, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
I do have an ask. Does anybody know in Barrie or in Innisfil of a daycare that is taking people right now? And if you do, please let me know. And I can pass it on to my daughter-in-law. Because right now she's having to drive north of Midland to take her kids to daycare.
So Janet, there is a daycare just 2 streets over from you. I know a family that use it, and they speak very highly of the lady. I'll get you that information, but it's just actually 2 streets away. I'll get that to you.
That'd be perfect. Thank you.
Check with my child's daycare as well, see if they're taking on people.
Janet, did you have anything for Learning Quarter?
Sure. I've got about community service. A community, defined it simplest terms, is a group of people who have something in common, but in real life has something far more complex than that. Each member, every individual, group, organization, and business draws benefits from the community in many different ways. For a community to thrive, benefits from the community thrive, each of its members must honor a commitment to contribute to the well-being of the whole by returning those benefits in kind. Rotarians recognize the importance of giving back to the community. After all, community service is one of the 4 avenues of service. Every Rotary Club and every Rotarian assumes a responsibility to find ways to improve the quality of life for those in our communities and to serve the public interest. When those efforts are effective, they are not only to contribute to the greater good, they also promote Rotary's positive image. What makes a community service effort effective? Relevance. A community service project must address a real, current community concern or issue. Rotary clubs should start by surveying their communities to find out where help is needed. Once a club has listened to its community, it can begin to envision effective responses to problems. So just like Janice Skot said, that just feeds right into our community service and being able to help support the building of RVH. So that's it for today.
Dean, I apologize. I am asked by the district governor to please remind everybody that the district conference is going ahead in person, and that if you're interested, they would appreciate finding out. And there's still hotel rooms, and Timmins is a wonderful city. And just have a look at it on the district page, and I would appreciate that, and supporting the conference if you can.
Absolutely. I'm still trying to figure out my decisions on it, but hopefully everyone can come.
Presidents have to go.
I will tell my job that Barb Bagley said so. Anyone else have anything else before we adjourn today? No. Well, everyone have a fantastic week, and I'll see everyone soon.
See you all.